Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about poor. Now, many people think, when they think poor, they think of people with no money. That's not what I'm talking about. And this is what I thought. This is something that it's all been coming together on everything that I've seen throughout my life. But no money is not poor. There's been times in my life I've had no money, but I've never been poor. And this is what I want to try to clarify. No money is a symptom of being poor. That's a symptom. That's why when I do my Hoi Chi, I don't ask people what's wrong with them, because what is wrong with them is a symptom of something. And I find what that something is, and they make corrections. So that's basically what I'm talking about here. Okay. What I've learned, I'll tell you, what brought it to mind is I was answering a comment on, I made a video about precious metals. Precious metals is not money. And that's a good video. Probably want to read the comments on that. There's a lot of good information on that. But anyway, like I say, I was in Mexico this last trip. And what happens when I travel, I try to look for translators. Somebody that not only can speak the language, but understands the culture and can take me to places and let me see things and experience things. That's why I don't go to tourist stuff. I've got somebody, well, I try to get somebody that'll go with me and help me. And not always. If I don't, I just do it by myself. But one of the things that got me is when I do my Hoi Chi, I do it for everybody. It doesn't make any difference if they got money or not. And like I say, I'm doing it now for free. And the reason is, I've learned when poor people, some more symptoms of being poor, is they have no hope. They have no hope, and you know, they don't have any dreams. They don't dream of whatever. You know, they just kind of do as they're told. They go along, kind of like a slave. And all this is really, being poor is an attitude. It's an attitude, and it's a lifestyle. You get to the point where you just say, well, I'm not gonna dream. I don't have any hopes. And then that means your attitude just went to hell. And then I'm going to learn to learn a poor lifestyle. Now, I'm a good example of not having. I have nothing. No, take it back. I got a car. I got a car and a bicycle. And but that's about the closest I've been to being poor. Now, I guess, well, when I was living in Guatemala, I had a motorcycle. Didn't even have a car, just had a motorcycle. But so I've had even less. So it's not the stuff that you've accumulated that makes you poor, or not, or lack of having stuff that makes you poor. It's the attitude, and that attitude means you have to take responsibility. This is one of the things. Okay, I'm trying to put all this together. All these things I've been learning. Uh, in Mexico, I had a poor guy doing my translating and taking me around, and I'm showing him how to do Hoi Chi because I don't want him to be poor. You learn a skill, and then you don't have to be poor. That's another thing. Poor people, they don't value their time. They don't do something with their time, something to better themselves. They don't. So, but anyway, it ended up he was taking me around to help poor people. I don't mind helping poor people. But what I learned was poor people, since they don't take responsibility, they think that they're going to do the minimum they can get away with. That's what being poor is all about. And others will make up for their lack of taking responsibility for themselves. And so here I am working on poor people, and I tell them how their diet's not right, and and they don't have any money to pay, and that's okay. But they expect me, along with the other people, to take care of them. That's where you get the idea of socialism and communism. Okay, now talking about communism, I was in China a year ago, yeah. Let's see, 2017 and 2018, I was in China, and I hooked up with a gal, and I was trying to marry her, and we didn't speak the same language. Well, that doesn't bother me because my wife of 41 years didn't speak either. She didn't speak English, but in time she did. And I told this gal she needed to learn to speak English. I already know. I mean, I'm half Chinese. My family's all Chinese. They all speak Chinese. I don't. I'm not the kind of person that picks up languages. And that's another skill that I don't have. But what I learned from her, she's communist now. She expects the government to take from the people that have dreams, have a good attitude, take personal responsibility, and have done something with their life in way of wealth, and they take it from them and they give it to the people that have a poor attitude, have no hope, have no dreams, and give it to them, so they think the government is the provider. That's what communism is. And that's what happened to her. She couldn't understand. I wanted to help people. That's why I was doing Hoi Chi in China. And I wanted her to help me help people. She didn't want to do that. It kind of got in her way. So in other words, there was an opportunity for not only me to prosper, but for her to prosper also. But that's not in her dreams. That's not her attitude. Why should she? She's a communist. The government provides her with a house, provides her with an income. She retired when she was 50. Now remember, I'm 70 and she was 57, and so she had no desire to better herself. She had no. She wouldn't take responsibility any further than what she had to. And for me, taking me on was a big responsibility. That's called a relationship. Relationships are responsibility. This is why relationships don't work. People don't take that responsibility. So all this falls into being poor. So don't look at poor as money. Like I say, I've been able to recover from being no money before, but one thing, I've always had hope, and I've always had dreams, and I've taken the responsibility to go for those dreams. And this is why some poor people are able to get out of that environment. Talk about you are the average of your 5 best friends. So, and you know, best friends is kind of a tough one, because I really don't have any best friends, because like I say, my wife was my best friend, and she shared the same dreams and opportunities that I did. She could see what I could see, and so when it was time to set goals, she would back me up to go after these goals. Whether I was going into the oil business, starting restaurants. Well, she didn't back me up when I thought I was going to run for president, but other than that, she knew. But then again, she doesn't have that attitude, that poor attitude. Even when we had no money, and like I say, I couldn't even take care of my own family. And that's when I sent her and the children, to her mom and dad to help take care of them, because I couldn't take care of them. I was eating day-old donuts just to survive as I was learning the oil business. In other words, I stayed focused on responsibility. I knew I had to do certain things to reach my goals. And so I had that hope. So, in other words, what I'm getting across is you can't really feel sorry for poor people if their attitude is the way it is, because they need to take that personal responsibility, change their attitude, set goals, and go for what they hope can happen. And anyway, a good example also of how money doesn't if you're focused on money, that's not a good way to focus. A good example is these people that win the lottery. Lottery winners, their lives go to hell. They got plenty of money, but their lives go to hell. That's because they didn't have the hopes and dreams to go with it. And they didn't know what to do with that money. That's because they didn't build it. They didn't build it. It was just given to them. That's why I don't give money. I give opportunity. When I work on people with the Hoy Chi for free, I'm giving you the opportunity to improve your life. And what you're going to do with that opportunity, I don't know. Are you poor or are you rich? This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.